Welcome to the Zinnov podcast. You're listening to our Business Resilience series, where we bring to you conversations between eminent industry stalwarts and thought leaders from across the globe as they discuss their insights on overcoming challenges and the mindset that help them navigate the journey of crisis, resilience, and growth.
Welcome everyone to a new episode of Zinnov Podcast, Business Resilience Series. I'm your host, Pari Natarajan, the CEO of Zinnov. The world of engineering is undergoing a seismic shift thanks to the explosive growth of artificial intelligence. Generative AI, in particular, is poised to become the next normal, revolutionizing how we collaborate, optimize workflows, and unlock new levels of productivity. The growing acceptance is not just a claim, it is backed by a remarkable statistic. 75% of over 250 patents filed since 2021 have already been granted. This shows a rapid shift towards a future where AI driven collaboration is just not a possibility, but a reality. Today, we will dive deep into this existing intersection of AI and engineering, exploring how it is transforming industries. Our guest today is Vijay Guntur, Chief Technology Officer and Head of Ecosystem at HCL Technologies. Firstly, Vijay, congratulations on your new role. Vijay will now be spearheading the next generation technologies, including Gen AI, data engineering, and cloud at HCL Tech, while fostering synergies and innovation with ecosystem players such as hyperscalers, tech OEMs, and semiconductor chip companies. Hello, Vijay. It's great to have you with us.
Hi, Pari. Thank you for having me on the show. Very glad to be returning to the show and talking to you and our audience today.
Great. Let's get right in. Vijay, with nearly 35 years of experience in the R&D industry, you have witnessed substantial evolutions in technology, particularly in software development. And now with generative AI is at the forefront to revolutionize the way businesses operate by unlocking a range of benefits, including increasing efficiency, enhanced creativity, and improved decision making. Given this transformative potential, how do you see the opportunities for a technology services provider like HCL Tech as Gen AI becomes more prevalent?
I think this is unprecedented. The kind of opportunity that we are seeing and the potential impact that it can create is enormous. Just to quantify it, Pari, it looks like it's about 2 trillion, maybe some statistics upwards of 4 trillion. So that's the kind of impact in the next 4 or 5 years that the technology is expected to create. And we are already seeing firms that are doing so well leveraging this technology. And at HCL Tech, we have immense capabilities and solutions across the entire generative AI stack. If you think about the stack, it is right from what you need innovation at the chip, which we've seen firms like NVIDIA, Intel, AMD putting in their bets, to companies that are the tech OEMs who are producing the servers infrastructure that gets into it, or the hyperscalers who use this their own chips maybe, or they use somebody else's chips, and on top of it build their data centers and infrastructure. So there are players like that. We see opportunity there, which is immense, and we have seen some good work that we've been doing at both the semi-chip layer and at the data center. Now, once that's done, then you have the base infrastructure to go ready. Then you need the data infrastructure to be ready. And I think over time that has matured. There are many players there. We have several partnerships there. And we've just released something called our AI Foundry, which is to build this readiness for AI. I think there's opportunity there as well for us. And beyond that, it is everything around LLMs and SLMs that we can fine tune or build. And then, of course, the entire application and whatever product service that uses this entire stack. I think is across the stack, we see significant opportunity for us. And given our strengths across this stack in engineering, in uh, our foundation of data, in our businesses, in digital foundation, digital business services, we see opportunity across the stack. Then on top of it, if you layer the business transformation that's possible, our DPO services have leveraged this well to re-architect the way customers experience the business. So we are
Right.
seeing not only technology opportunities, but business transformation opportunities. And I think this is potentially larger than the digital engineering and digital transformation that we have seen over the last decade.
Very interesting. So you're seeing opportunities across all of your offering, right? Where HCL was known for very strong infrastructure capability, strong semiconductor capability, strong embedded software capability. Also, you have built a very strong BPO business. Seems like there are opportunities across various areas of this stack. So these are the service lines in some level, but customers are looking at solutions and use cases, right? They're not looking at, can you come and help me build a chip? A Fortune 500 companies are looking at how is it going to improve my productivity? How is it going to reduce my risk? And how is it going to create new revenue opportunities for them? In this context, like what are some of the use cases you see where customers are reaching out to HCL Tech and say, hey, here is something where we need help?
So you said customers are not reaching out to build chips. That's not entirely true. We have some customers who are asking us to build chips, and we are doing that. But that's not, that's a few, right? In the tech industry, of course, that is possible, and that's happening. Now, if I look at the end enterprises, right, they are the ones who are going to really use all of this tech, and they are focused on what business outcomes we can generate. And we think the revenue impacting ones, I will give you a few use cases, and then I'll talk a little bit about what is customer experience and maybe one use case about what is driving productivity. So between the three, right, in terms of improving revenue line, which is the big thing, we are seeing use cases come through in e-commerce, surprising area, where you can do content generation automatically, you can do personalization much more automatically, and not in cluster, but a person of one you can target very well, right? So that is one big area we are seeing that's giving revenue uplift. It is giving higher customer satisfaction. So that's an area where I'm seeing uplift in revenue if you are able to then get all of this content automatically generated and target each individual. And of course, this kind of capability is going to impact retail, it's CPG, it's going to impact travel, it's going to impact a bunch of industries having this kind of capability. So that's, I think, something on the revenue line. If I think about customer experience, which is, I think, if you life sciences and healthcare, there is a whole lot of innovation that is happening. And give you an example there, your interaction as a patient when you go to a hospital, that that initial half an hour, 40 minutes, that we have now automated through a generative AI engine for one of our customers, and that is down to a few minutes, like 4 or 5 minutes, you're done with that process. So you're building scalability and reach for those services. So that's changing customer experience significantly, and hence downstream efficiencies for the businesses that are using this tech. And hospitals are one place, but similar kind we see in a lot of agentic tech that is impacting many services. We are having situations where we don't even have a person that's really dealing with support cases. It's a lot about having agentic technology help through that entire journey, right? And some cases we are seeing this is aiding, the tech is aiding agents to become much more effective and no shorter tat and all of that. So that is improving customer experience and delivering real business benefits in terms of productivity gains as well as higher customer satisfaction. So that's the second use case, I would think. The third use case, I will talk a little bit about productivity and much more closer to all of the tech companies in this industry, because we think that this is happening to somebody else, right? Our own business, we want to see how we can get more efficient, how can we be able to deliver our services much faster and better, whether it is in product innovation going to market faster, or in our ability to drive efficiencies in this process. We have something called AI Force that we have built. It's a patented technology. You talked about patents in the beginning. We've been granted 20 patents on that tech from the past, and we've filed 6 more for that technology. It is not only, it's going beyond what GitHub Copilot or any coding copilots can do. It is across the software engineering life cycle, whether it is test, deploy, it is sustenance, or everything that we are doing in the businesses, right? We are having this tech drive efficiencies through solution of AI force that we have built, and we think this is going to be transformative for our own business, and that we see is going to be changing many services that we are going to drive and build newer services for us as well. So we believe that the productivity that we are going to gain, we will share with customers, of course, but more important is how we are going to do work in the future is going to be transformed by this technology.
So you talked quite a bit about productivity is very interesting. Some level there is a fear that that could cannibalize the overall revenue for the tech services industry. How do you see that kind of play out?
Some of what you're saying is true. There will be a cannibalization, and there will be growth opportunity as well because of this. So the cannibalization, if you're not going to do, somebody else is going to do for sure. So you're better off, using that and being proactive and be able to get to the market faster with that approach, with the intent of growing the business beyond the cannibalization.
Got it. And also, what we see is that's going to change some of the business models of how you deliver services, right? Customers would increasingly rely on you on outcome-based offerings, and some level, HCL Tech has been a pioneer in building those offering and taking, putting a skin in the game with customers. Almost like we see it as a natural advantage for you based on how you constructed your business.
Yes, I think we are already seeing that, in transforming our own business with customers. We are driving more outcome-based services, and we are being measured on outcomes and being paid on outcomes that we generate. And CX that I talked about, customer sat is one good measure. The obvious ones are revenue, of course. If you get an uplift on revenue, having a share there. And in terms of productivity, also gain share on the productivity is the model that we have experimented with it in the past, but we are seeing a lot more interest with generative AI.
Great. And one other thing, I mean, you talked about different service lines and how your offerings across, the interesting use cases across both revenue, efficiency on the customer side. How, like, HCL is just one player. There's innovation happening across the stack, right? Vijay, you have innovation happening at the chip level, the innovation happening at the new LLM level. There are core research happening on what is next after LLM in universities across the world. Then you have hyperscalers spending billions of dollars. On top of it, your customers are building their own infrastructure. You are the system integrator in some level, engineering provider. How does all of this come together? How do you partner? It'd be great to get that perspective as well.
I think partnerships are the way to go. No one company can deliver this value across, like we talked about. So we are partnering with semiconductor chip companies, the NVIDIA, Intels, and AMDs of the world. And we are partnering with tech OEMs, whether it is a Dell or an IBM or a HP, right, for being able to use their technology. We are also seeing in our digital workplace services, AI PCs are starting to show up on the demand cycle there. So that's another piece that we are seeing a demand from, and hence partnering with a Dell and an OEM like HP is super critical for us to be able to you know make good of those services and serve our customers there. Then you think about the proliferation, I would say, of LLMs that are there. Some of them open source, some of them proprietary. I think our ability to use all of these and learn, adapt is significant. The amount of change that it has driven, small language model, different tokens, different kinds of services that we can generate on top of it is also a big part. So building those relationships, some of them are with hyperscalers, some are outside the hyperscalers in this space. Hugging Face, so they are all companies that rely on partners for them to scale, and for us, GSIs and engineering companies, working with them to build the tech is one, but then adopting the tech is the other part. So those relationships are also important. And at the end, we also see working with domain experts and working with the consulting firms, right? We are building some relationships there so that they are in the front end of the cycle talking about the business transformation, but realizing that is where we think we come as a firm, and working with some of these uh, companies is very important, which are in the strategy consulting space. Finally, we have built an ecosystem of relationships with universities, both in the US and in India and soon in Europe, where we will be able to get to understand what is going on, what will be the next in this space, and being able to be ready for the change that is coming and participating, contributing as well. So I think these ecosystems with tech OEMs, with semiconductor chip companies, with hyperscalers, with the people who are doing the LLMs, the universities, and the strategy firms. Those are all the relationships that we built. We have a program to work with startups. We have to mature that further, but that's another ecosystem extension that we are looking at.
Great. It looks like HCL Tech is almost like a glue, bringing in all the different aspects across the ecosystem and provide that what is relevant for the customer, because things are changing so rapidly across the stack. The customers might not have the know-how or capability to keep track of everything which is happening. Seems like you have stitched the partnerships in a way that you're able to add that value to the customer at the right time. So Vijay, to do all of this, obviously the important thing is the talent, right? And you have talent across the US, Europe, Japan, in different locations in India. How is the talent ready to drive your own transformation and more importantly, your customers' transformation?
So I'll come to the talent question in a bit, Pari, but I want to address this thing about how do we abstract this complexity for customers, right? If you think about it, customers are interested in what value it can drive, what price point it can drive, that value add. So we have our generative AI labs today, which are there, cloud and Gen AI labs that are there in London, in New York. We are going to open one, and we have one in Noida. We're going to open one on the West Coast soon. So these are the first points of interface for our customers, where we reduce this complexity and focus on how to prioritize what is the readiness of the customer, what is their data readiness. We have just launched a AI Foundry solution, which is to help customers get their data more ready, because without data, there's no AI and generative AI, and hence any business benefits. So we think that is the first port of call for our customers, where we abstract everything, help them prioritize, actually experiment, and at the end of it come to a set of few use cases that are going to be important and productive, and that there is a return on investment. So that's an important part of how we want to engage with customers. Now let me come to the talent question that you asked. Talent in this space is very limited, right? And we've seen this experience in the digital transformation that happened, and how we cope and how did we get ready. I think with generative AI, we have an opportunity to build new talent pools. We have a Tech B program where we have experimented with taking college grads and making sure they can learn new technologies. TechP has been around for 5 years in HCL Tech, but we now have introduced AI very early in this program, and data and AI concepts. And we've seen within a year of going through the program, people are able to actually contribute to projects. So we think that there is a pool that's available through programs like TechB, where early stage we can get people to understand the tech, be ready, and contribute. So if you think about what this means, and what could it potentially have an impact, I think people who are even in their high school across the world, they can get ready much more. And I'm seeing this change already in schools happening, where they are introducing data science concepts at high school. So I think that change is a good one, because it's not just about people who are building this tech. It's going to be pervasive. So you need to be able to use all of this tech. So even getting workforce and people ready to use this tech is as important as people who are building the tech and building the solutions. So I think in the next 2 3 years, this will get to even schools, and people beyond STEM will need these new capabilities. I almost think it's going to be like math, like reading and math. It'll become a skill on how to use AI tech and how to leverage it in your day-to-day work. I mean, there's no point. ChatGPT, everybody knows how to use almost now. A little more if you peel, you think we need a little more data insight, prompt engineering capabilities that people will need. And I think high school kids are ready for that. And I also think when you take cohorts of people coming into the workforce, this is an important skill. And the more ready people are, I think they'll be more productive in their jobs and get to do much more creative work.
Very interesting. So there is one kind of field of thought where people say that the better experience level is required to take advantage of AI. So in some level, you're being counterintuitive. It's even high school kids or junior engineers can add a lot of value using AI. If you provided they are trained effectively, they know how to use these tools. You can leverage. They can take advantage of it and have more efficiency and productivity gains from that.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot, Vijay. We covered a whole lot of things in a very short time. How AI is playing a role across different service lines, and customers are already working on really important, mission critical, revenue generating, and efficiency improvement use cases. And you are able to bring in the entire ecosystem, but make it very easy for customers to experience it through the labs you're setting up across, very close to the customer, to help them navigate this ever-changing, complex set of innovation happening across the stack. And also not just that, but proactively creating a readiness across your talent pool, not just within your talent pool, also extending into the potential talent you would hire in the company, and making them ready and having a point of view on that. Super exciting. It looks like it's just starting. And next time when we speak, I'm sure you would have gone further along. There'll be a lot of more interesting insights for us to discuss. Thanks again.
Thanks, Pari, for this opportunity, and very good talking to you again.
Thanks, Vijay. Stay tuned as we continue to bring you thought-provoking conversations with esteemed industry leaders in our upcoming episodes. Until next time, thank you for joining us. This is Pari Natarajan signing off.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Business Resilience Series. Stay tuned for more such interesting episodes. You can listen to our podcast on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast from. To know more about Zinnov, visit our website, www.zinnov.com, or drop us a note at info@zinnov.com. Follow us on Twitter @Zinnov for regular updates on our content. Thank you again for listening to the Business Resilience Series of the Zinnov Podcast.